Uh, Stop what you're doing, Virgo. I mean it, this one is time sensitive. Someone in your life has been carrying a secret that's been eating them alive, and they're approaching the moment where silence becomes impossible. The truth is coming, and it's going to change everything between you. So get present, get grounded, and let's talk about what's been hidden in the shadows. Let's begin. Someone close to you has been rehearsing a conversation in their mind for weeks, maybe months, running through different versions of how to say what needs saying, testing phrases, imagining your reactions, trying to find the exact combination of words that will deliver truth without destroying everything. But no such combination exists because the truth they're carrying isn't the kind that can be softened through careful phrasing or made palatable through strategic delivery. It's just truth, raw and uncomfortable, and it's going to land hard regardless of how gently they try to place it. Let me describe what happens when someone reaches the breaking point with a secret. Most people can carry small secrets indefinitely, little omissions, minor deceptions, things they're not telling you that don't significantly impact the relationship. Those are manageable, easy to justify, simple to maintain. But this isn't that kind of secret. This is the kind that grows heavier with time, that creates distance they can't explain, that makes every interaction feel slightly false because underneath the normal conversation is this massive thing they're not saying. And that falseness is becoming unbearable. Some people are skilled at compartmentalization. They can hold secrets in sealed containers, keep them separate from the rest of their life, interact with you as if nothing's wrong, while internally they're managing this whole separate reality you know nothing about. But even the best compartmentalizers reach capacity eventually. The secret starts leaking, showing up in their energy even when they control their words, creating slips they have to cover, generating stress that affects how they show up with you, even though you can't identify why they seem different. You might have sensed something. Is that feeling when someone's with you but not fully present? When conversations feel slightly off? When their attention seems divided even though you're the only one in the room? That's the secret taking up space between you. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider whose energy has felt strange lately in ways you couldn't quite name. Maybe they've been more careful around you, choosing words with unusual precision, monitoring themselves in ways that feel unnatural for how you normally interact. That carefulness is them trying not to accidentally reveal what they're deliberately hiding. Or maybe they've been creating distance, subtle withdrawal, less available, harder to reach. Not because they care less, but because proximity makes the secret harder to hold. Every interaction increases the risk of it slipping out before they're ready. Some people pull away when they're hiding something significant, not consciously necessarily, but instinctively, like their system knows that closeness and secrets don't coexist comfortably, that maintaining both requires energy they don't have. You might have interpreted their distance as disinterest is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than, as them getting over you or moving on or just being busy with other things. but the distance wasn't about you. It was about protecting the secret, creating space where the weight of it doesn't press so heavily on every moment you're together. Or maybe they've been overcompensating, being extra attentive, more affectionate than usual, like they're trying to make up for the betrayal of keeping this from you. Guilt manifests in strange ways, and sometimes it looks like sudden generosity or unexpected kindness from someone who's actually feeling terrible about what they're hiding. This reflection invites you to consider, have you been receiving unusual attention from someone that felt slightly off? Like love mixed with something you couldn't identify? There's something specific about what finally ready means. It means they've reached the point where the cost of telling is finally less than the cost of continuing to hide, where the relationship damage from secrecy is starting to exceed the anticipated damage from revelation, where they can't keep living with this internal division between what they know and what you know. Maybe something changed externally, circumstances shifted, making the secret harder to maintain or easier to reveal. Someone else found out, or evidence emerged that they can't explain away, or the situation evolved in ways that make continued concealment impossible, or maybe something changed internally. They just can't live with themselves anymore is less than #0. 5# is greater than can't look at you without feeling the weight of deception. Can't pretend everything's normal when they know it's not. Conscience has a breaking point, and they've reached theirs. Some people confess because they're about to be caught. They'd rather control the narrative than have someone else reveal it. They'd rather be the one telling you than have you find out another way. That's not noble honesty. That's damage control. But it still results in truth coming to light. But others confess because carrying the secret has become more painful than facing the consequences of revealing it. Because integrity matters more than comfort. Because they love you enough to risk losing you by being honest rather than keep you through continued deception. You can usually tell the difference. Forced confessions feel defensive, full of justifications and minimizations, trying to control your response. Voluntary confessions feel vulnerable, full of accountability, accepting whatever consequence comes without trying to manipulate your reaction. This reflection invites you to consider, if someone confessed something they'd been hiding, would you be able to tell whether they're confessing from conscience or just because they're about to be caught? Let me describe what the truth might actually be. It could be about feelings. They're in love with you and have been hiding it. Or they're not in love with you anymore and have been pretending they still are. Both directions of emotional truth can be equally difficult to speak, is less than #0. 5# is greater than both. Risk fundamentally changing the relationship. Both require courage to voice. Some people hide love because they're terrified of rejection. They'd rather have you as friend than risk losing you by wanting more. So they perform platonic while feeling everything but. And eventually that performance becomes unbearable. Eventually they have to speak or they have to leave. And silence is no longer a sustainable option. Or they hide the death of love because they don't want to hurt you. They care about you enough to hate the idea of causing you pain. So they keep pretending feelings that faded, keep performing partnership when internally they've already left, keep going through motions while dying inside from the inauthenticity of it. Or the truth could be about actions. They did something that betrayed your trust, or violated agreements, or crossed lines they promised not to cross. And they've been living with that betrayal in secret, managing the guilt, hoping you'd never find out. But the weight of it is crushing them. Maybe they were unfaithful, not necessarily physically, but emotionally. Maybe they've been involved with someone else in ways that contradict what they've told you about your relationship. Maybe they've been living double reality, showing you one version while actually operating in another. Or maybe they made decision that affects you without including you. Financial choice, life choice, something significant that you had right to know about and participate in is less than has hone. Zero hash is greater than, but they acted unilaterally. And now they have to tell you about the thing they already did without your input or consent. Or the truth could be about identity, who they actually are versus who they've been presenting. Maybe they've been hiding fundamental aspects of themselves, their past, their struggles, their desires, their reality, because they were afraid you wouldn't accept them if you knew the whole truth. Some people construct entire false personas, not maliciously, just protectively, showing you the version they think you'll love while hiding the parts they're afraid you'll reject. And eventually maintaining that performance becomes impossible. Eventually they have to risk being fully seen, or they have to leave before the mask slips. This reflection invites you to consider what kind of truth would be hardest for you to hear from someone you trust. There's something important about what you might need to do when the truth arrives. First, let them finish speaking before you respond. Don't interrupt with questions or objections or defensive reactions. Let the whole truth come out. Even when parts of it hurt, even when you want to stop them mid-sentence, because if you shut them down before they've said everything, they might not get courage to try again. And you might end up with partial truth that's somehow worse than either full truth or continued ignorance. Second, separate the truth from how they handled it is less than has hone. Zero hash is greater than. They might be confessing something that's not actually that bad. But the fact that they hid it for so long makes it feel worse. Or they might be confessing something genuinely terrible. But the fact that they're confessing voluntarily shows some level of integrity. Deal with both pieces, what they did and how they handled it. But don't conflate them. Sometimes the hiding is worse than the thing being hidden. And sometimes it's the other way around. Third, give yourself time before deciding what this means. Don't make major decisions while you're in shock. Don't commit to staying or leaving or forgiving or ending things while your nervous system is still processing the impact. Tell them you need time. Take space. Let the information settle. Let your emotions process. Then decide what you want to do with this new reality. Fourth, Trust your gut about whether this is confessional or manipulative. Are they taking full responsibility, or are they making you feel responsible for their choice to lie? Are they accepting consequences, or are they trying to control your response through their framing? Real accountability sounds like, I did this, it was wrong. I understand if you can't forgive me. Manipulation sounds like, I only did this because you. If you had been different, I wouldn't have had to. You're overreacting to something that's not even that big a deal. If their confession includes blaming you for their choice to deceive, is less than #0. 5# is greater than. That's not confession. That's just a different form of manipulation. Let me address what happens after truth destroys comfortable illusion. Some relationships survive revelation. The truth hurts. The betrayal stings. But underneath is enough real care and commitment that both people choose to rebuild, to work through it, to create new foundation based on honesty instead of the old one based on partial truth. Those relationships often emerge stronger, not because betrayal is good, but because surviving it together, choosing each other even after seeing the worst, creates bond that relationships without that test might not develop. But other relationships don't survive. The truth reveals incompatibility that was always there, but hidden. Or the betrayal is too significant. Or the person receiving the truth realizes they can't rebuild trust once it's been broken. This specifically, and that's valid too, staying isn't always brave. Sometimes leaving is the stronger choice. Sometimes the truth shows you that this person or this dynamic isn't what you thought, and walking away is appropriate response. You'll know which path is right. Not immediately, but eventually your body will tell you whether staying feels like growth or just familiar suffering. Whether forgiveness feels possible or whether you're just performing it to avoid the discomfort of ending things. Trust that knowing, even when it's inconvenient, even when it contradicts what you wish were true. You remain in complete control of how you respond to someone's truth. You can forgive or end it, can demand changes or walk away, can give chances or protect yourself, can stay or go. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has brought up specific person, someone whose energy has been off, someone you suspect is hiding something, maybe dread about what they might reveal, maybe relief that the weird tension might finally get explained, maybe recognition that you've been avoiding asking directly because you're not ready to know. Whatever it is, honor it, take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If someone you trusted was hiding something significant, would you rather they tell you, or would you rather not know? Drop it in the comments honestly. And this, is it worse to be lied to directly or to have truth withheld through omission? They're finally ready to tell you the truth, what they've been hiding all along. And when they do, everything changes. Not because truth is always devastating, but because knowing replaces wondering, and reality replaces the story you've been believing. The truth is coming soon, maybe today. maybe this week, but it's coming because they can't hold it anymore, because the secret has reached its expiration date, because silence has become more painful than speaking. Not eventually, soon. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you can handle whatever they reveal, even if it hurts. Trust that knowing is better than being managed through ignorance, even when ignorance felt safer. Trust that whatever the truth is, you'll know how to respond once you actually hear it. See you in the next one. And listen, secrets don't stay hidden forever. They surface eventually through confession or discovery, but they surface. Brace for truth. Stay grounded. Remember who you are. The secret is breaking. Be ready. Take care.